there, and welcome to Different Minds. My name is Lavell Short, and I will be your host.
Hello, this is Different Minds, where Lavell Short Jr. is the host, but I, Kendall Willis, will be your host for tonight. Lavell Short Jr.,
Yes, Mr.
tell me about yourself, bro.
Well, as he did state, my name is Lavell Short Jr. I am a youth minister here at New Creation Binding and Loosing Ministries. Normally the host of Different Minds, but I was kind enough to let somebody else share my stage tonight. I am, like I said, a youth minister, a senior class president at my school, a community activist, and so much more. A senior at that, and just a whole lot, Kendall, just a whole lot.
Why did you start Different Minds? What was your purpose?
The purpose for starting Different Minds was simply to be able to talk to different people, such as yourself, and then other people who I call different-minded, or people that think outside of the box, people who don't mind taking an extra step to make change happen in their communities and in their lives. And I want to sit down with those people and help educate those that will watch the show, help empower them with knowledge and understanding on how to live their best life.
You are a youth minister. What's the name of your church?
New Creation Binding and Loosening Ministries International is where I'm from, as well as I'm a youth minister there. But our youth church name is Young Risers All Youth Church. So, where we train up, youth to be leaders, and, we train them up to be different-minded themselves, as well as, in the Word of God, and making sure that they understand every biblical principle as well as natural principle that helps them live their own successful lives.
Do you ever find it hard to be a youth pastor?
Sometimes it is a little difficult, to say the least, simply because it's youth, it's teens, it's children. Even though I am one of them myself, sometimes it's hard to minister to a peer who, might be going through something that you've never been through. Or I'm trying to find a scripture or a word when they're just like, pray for me right then. I call myself an on-call minister because that's what they do. They'll call me in a second and say, well, Minister Lavell, we need prayer. Minister Lavell, what must I do to, be saved? And sometimes it is difficult.
What is your most memorable message, and why?
My most memorable message. Goodness gracious, my most memorable. Now, I've preached enough, but my most memorable message would possibly have to be. Goodness, that's a good question. The call. Okay, I'll pick one off the top of my head. The call would have to be my most memorable message because that was the first message for youth church, and it actually took some studying to do because we were just starting up youth church. I wanted it to be a word straight from the Lord, and I want to make sure that the youth understand the importance of their calling while they're here on earth, their real purpose, their true purpose, and their true identity and reason why they are here on earth.
I've been in sessions in Sunday school and church, and when they say, you're going to be a youth pastor, you're going to be this, people, not me, I don't want to do that. So why did you want to become a youth pastor?
I believe it played a part of the call, simply, Kendall. I don't think it was something that I necessarily grew up as a 4-year-old saying, I'm going to be a preacher. That wasn't the whole thing for me. I actually just wanted to be a teacher, an elementary school teacher. And at the age of 13, my pastor looked at me and said, you have a gift to teach. And she set a Bible in front of me one day at her home, and she said, this is what God is calling you to teach. And when she set that Bible down, and it was almost like Pastor Paula White said it, I saw color for the first time. It was almost like that's what it was like for me. I saw color. I saw life in color for the first time, understanding that being a minister requires a whole lot, but knowing that this is what God is calling me to do, and He'll strengthen me along the way to do it.
Okay, now what does it mean to be different-minded in the church?
To be different-minded in ministry simply means to understand that you have to do what God is calling you to do, as well as don't just be traditional or don't just be religious, but understand that this is still a life that you have to live. Understand that people still have to live this life. And to be different-minded in the ministry simply means to stand up and say, darn it, I'm going to walk for Jesus in every area of my life, despite what everybody says, despite what, religion says, what tradition says. I'm going to stand up for Jesus. I'm going to stand up and say, this is my God and this is what I believe in.
And that's very good because you actually show you set a different standard. You know, even at school, you're different because when we walk down the hallways and through the lunchroom, I can see a change in how he's walking and how you're walking. You know, he's trying to talk to her. You know, you're trying to eat. You know, he's trying to, you know, you carry around your Bible, and that's a, I would be, you know, I'm kind of timid. If I had to carry my Bible, I would be, you know, kind of timid. But God has placed a want and a willingness in you for Him and for your calling and things. So I want to know, how did you get that? Like when, how?
When, especially the boldness to start carrying around my Bible in school was, I think it started in the 7th grade when my mom, I could say this on camera, forced us to get saved. It wasn't an option. You know, I don't see how parents give their children an option these days. But my mama sure didn't give me an option. It was just, one day she said, "Did you want to go to church?" I said, "No." I went to my grandma's house that next Sunday. I knew it, I was saved. And, you know, I was a part of a ministry. And from that day forward, I said, well, what is this Christianity thing? What is this thing, you know? And I've always been one to stand up for what I believe in. I've always been one to be very passionate about whatever it is. I don't care if it was wrong, right. If I was in it, I was standing up for it. So when I found God and got into the Word of God and, you know, found out that this is what life is for and this is what life was meant to be like, I took a stand. And I said, if it means taking my Bible to school, darn it, every kid up in there, we're going to start revival in my school if I have to.
I want to know, how can people, youth like us, learn, you know, get that desire for Jesus?
I think it just takes, you said a key word, I think it just takes the desire. So not all children are like me who was, I wouldn't say we were dragged into church, we were kind of softly pushed into church. It takes the want. You have to want it. You have to desire it. It takes for you to sit down and maybe read a scripture a day. I'm not telling you to, you know, go learn the whole Bible, because, you know, I'm not going to sit down and, you know, learn the entire thing in its entirety. But sit down and learn those key principles, those key commandments, those key prayers, the walk of Jesus, and that's how you get it. But you have to first have the desire. If you don't have the desire, it's just like with learning. If you don't have a desire to learn, then you're going to sit in the classroom and not do anything.
Before we go on break, I want to ask you one last question. When are you going to start your own church?
Wow, that's a pretty critical question there, Kendall. I believe that if God calls me to start my own church, which would truly have to be something God has called, running the church just from watching my own pastor isn't easy. It isn't a walk in the park. It's dealing with people. It's dealing with attitudes. It's dealing with all these different aspects. It's dealing with business and all this crazy other stuff. So if God was to call it, then if He said start a church tomorrow, darn it, I'm getting up. I don't know where the people gonna come from, but I trust Him with it. That's a key factor. If I'm gonna start a ministry, I'm gonna trust God with it the whole way.
And that's what you got to do, because I heard a story about my grandfather when he said he left his church and God called him to start a church, and he said people from the church that he came from said, you know, we'll come with you, me and my family come with you. He said, no, God told me, my wife, and my 3 daughters to go to this and start a church. He told me to start a church, me and my family. He didn't tell me to, you know, bring you so people will come. And that's good that you have that boldness to learn now that you're a youth, that I don't need you. I'm not asking you to come. If you need to come, God will provide a way and show a way for you. When we come back, we're gonna show you. I'm gonna ask you some questions about your speech competition.
Oh goodness! All right. Yeah. It amazes me every time I look at my community and I see young boys trying to be grown men just to fit in. See, it brings tears to my eyes when I look at the news and I hear about another young boy who has died trying to play this game called life that nobody taught him the rules to. I'm going to paint a picture for you, okay? Think about an Xbox 360 or a game or, you know, a Wii that we have. And as an older brother, I play mine a lot. And I think about how my little brother sits next to me in the room and he just watches as I play. And I get all excited because I just shot. Yeah, I won. Woo, the screen says winner. And my little brother gets excited with me. And we're just like, yeah.
But then when I'm not home, he picks up the controller and he tries to play the game himself and he loses. So what happens in our community, and especially my own, is a lot of the times we as older siblings or we as future role models, we don't teach them how to play this game called life. We just sit back and allow them to watch us play. And that's how we get a lot of young boys who lose their life. I looked up the definition of a role model, and to be a role model, according to Webster, is to have influential power over the psyche or one's mind. And when we look at role models today, and some of y'all might disagree, some of the role models that we have today are Chief Keef, the girls from the Bad Girls Club, drug dealers and prostitutes. And I know you're like, but those aren't role models. In their own right, they are. Why? Because they have influential power over yourself and over your peers. And what we lack in our community is not role models, because as you can see, they have influential power. We lack real role models. That's what we need to get in our community. If I had to address the president with this issue, I would simply tell President Obama to keep doing what he's doing. Why? Because he is a real role model. President Obama has the tenacity to bring forth change. President Obama understands what it's going to take to bring this country forward. See, what we need is more men with the tenacity like President Obama who dares to be different. We need more women like Oprah who don't mind standing up and saying, this is what I stand for and this is what I believe in. See, I'm charging you today, before I leave this podium, I want you to understand that you have the tenacity. You have the drive to be different. You can do anything that you set your mind to. You have the ability and the power invested on the inside of you to bring forth change. Now, I want everybody to repeat after me. I need to hear y'all. Let's make this flow shake, all right? All right? All right. Say, I have power. I have power. Let me hear you. I have power, to change my community. I am, somebody. Say it a little louder. I am.
That was a speech by Lavell Short at the MIGBA Soapbox competition. Lavell, where did you get your topic from?
The topic, which was needing real role models in our community, came from the beginning, which was when I was doing research on children who don't have dreams. That was going to be my original focus. And as I broke it down, and we did a tree in school to try to figure out what was the root of children who don't have dreams, and one of it was not having role models. And, as the clip says, I went in to look up in Webster and found out that a role model is someone who has influential power over one's mind and over one's psyche. So once I did that research, I said, well, we don't need role models anymore because, Nicki Minaj is a role model, Keisha Cole is a role model. All these different people are role models. But we need a real role model. We need people like President Obama and, things of that sort. So it rooted up from children who don't dream, and dealing with the cause, which was, the lack of role models, real role models in our community.
You are a very good speaker. Where did you learn how to speak?
It started with my grandmother basically just sitting me down in front of a television, as opposed to, most people say, oh, television, you're not supposed to let television raise your children. Well, my grandma did a darn good job at letting television teach me certain things. I would watch CNN and, MSNBC and all the different news channels and Oprah and all these different things from the television, as well as every day my grandmother would correct me. I couldn't say me and them, or I and he. It would always be, he and I, or she would always correct me, as well as my teachers would always put me out there and reading out loud, or, if it was acting in school, they always, put me out there to teach me how to use that gift. So I could say everybody taught me how to use it in their own way, from just teaching me how to use a voice, how to speak up, how to use correct English, and all these different areas.
Now you're going to President Obama's second inauguration, and this week. How does that feel?
It feels, I could say it on my show, it feels exciting because, one, who would have thought I'd be going to the inauguration? Who would have ever in a million years? I wouldn't have said it at 4. I wouldn't have said it at 10. Here I am, 18 years old, going to see President Obama get inaugurated. I'm excited now. When they first told me, it was just like, oh, yay, I'm going to vacation. That's all I saw it as. I needed a vacation. But I'm excited about it now. I'm excited because I'm going to be a part of history, as well as getting to meet new people. I love to visit in different states and getting to meet different people and the way they live in different states. Because although we all are the United States of America, everybody has a different culture in different states. So that's more of why I'm excited. Not outside of the inauguration, just meeting the different people and being able to interact with different people.
Now, are you taking different minds to Washington, D.C.?
Yes, I'm going to take the show with me. I'm going to be recording almost like every step of the way, every walk I do, every move I make. We're going to go visit the Holocaust Museum. Everywhere I go, even to the inauguration, I plan on taking the different minds with me.
And that's good that you want to remember your history. You want to be able to show your grandchildren that I was there when the first black president of the United States, was inaugurated for the second time. Did you think he was going to be voted for and win the inauguration the second time?
I think I'm gonna drink my water at that note. Honestly, I did not think President Obama was gonna win this time. I did not think he was going to win this past election. I believed that Mitt Romney had President Obama beat for a minute, but as we all can see, President Obama did take the win. So honestly, no, I didn't think he was going to win. But am I happy that he won? The night of, no. Now I'm pretty happy he did.
Okay. Are you a Democrat or Republican?
I am what we would call a conservative Democrat. Now, what a conservative Democrat is someone who is technically a Democrat, however, has different viewpoints when it comes to policy making and law making. So, I am a Democrat. Yes, I am a Democrat. However, I, believe that some policies that the Democrats and the Democratic Party has, they just don't blend with my morals, per se.
When we come back, I want to ask Lavell some of his philosophies or his views on some topics. My name is Kendall Willis, and keep watching Different Minds with your host, Lavell Short Jr.
We thanking God for this community center because it's truly needed in our communities. As we continue to watch the violence and the escalates around our communities, whether it's in the Roseland community or whether it's in the Englewood community, but now it's in all communities. And what we need is community centers within our community, whereas our youth such as these you see can come and have a place to go after school, a wholesome place to come where they can have fun, and even the mature people, those of us that are older, can come and we can get our exercise on. So I'm really excited about this community center and the vision that Pastor Wade has.
Amen. Hello. Keep watching Different Minds with Lavell Short Jr.
So I want to know some of your views and philosophies on some topics. Number one,
Hit me with it.
the topic is violence. How do you feel we can solve the high violence rates
Here in Chicago?
here in Chicago?
I believe it's just getting to the root of whatever the issue is. If it's anger, if it's anger from the youth, because that seems to be where it is. So it's a lot of angry youth who don't have an outlet. So I believe that if we create more community centers, if we provide these youth who are angry, and it seems to be more young black men who are just angry, with whatever happened to them in their childhood, via neglect, rejection, whatever it was, if we provide them an outlet and a space to be able to come in and talk with somebody like myself or yourself and say, because a lot of them don't want to talk to adults. They don't want to talk to, their parents or their guardians or even their pastors and leaders. So a lot of them don't want to talk to them. So if we can educate young men like ourselves to be able to help another young man, overcome this angry, attitude towards life that he has, I believe that'll be, just part of the solution. Because, of course there's guns on the streets and all this other stuff, but the root of it is there's some angry young black men out there that don't know how to let go of this anger, And being able to give them an outlet is part one, at least step one, of the way to solve this problem.
I have to ask you, I know it's going to be some people that don't agree with this question, but do you believe it will get better?
I believe that it will. I believe that it all starts with, one person standing up to say, enough is truly enough. And of course, you have them out there like, no, enough is enough. But where is that one person that stands up and really, really says that it's time to make change, like President Obama did the first time he ran? He really stood up strong in that thing, running for presidency and saying, I want to make change happen in America like you've never seen change before. So I think it's going to take whoever that one person is, or that one group is, or that one senator, lawmaker, mayor, whoever it is going to have to stand up and say, darn it, this is it for me. This is the last child that is going to die. And it's from there that I believe it will get better.
And what are you going to do to reduce and try to stop the violence in your community, your neighborhood, your school?
Well, what I want to do is I want to be able to, even just now being able, as a youth minister is one of the roles, being able to have a leeway or a gateway to minister to young men who come into our youth church, which, by the way, was not always easy for me, because I'd look at a gangbanger and I'd look at a, drug dealer, and I'd look at a dreadhead who's sagging his pants and say, oh my goodness, I'm scared of him, I got to go the opposite way. It took a minute for God to really move me in that area. It took a minute for God to mold me and shape my heart to be able to minister to that young man and say it will get better. So, that's just part one. And then I want to do stuff like Love Your Community rallies, which would be myself and maybe some other, on fire youth about, and not necessarily on fire about God and on fire about ministry, but just on fire about change happening, on fire about making a positive energy happen in their community. So Love Your Community would simply be, we all gather together because we love our community enough to say enough with this violence, enough with this negativity, enough with this hatred amongst ourselves, and time for positivity, time for, less violence, because we know even the Bible says that, because of the times that we're living in, all this stuff is bound to happen. We can't stop all the violence. Right. But if I can reduce it, or if I can help a child understand that this is not the way you have to go the entire way. You see what I'm saying? That's the goal. That would be my goal, and that's how I would plan on doing it.
That's because we need Black American people. We need Black American youth, men, to step up and dare to be different, like you said in your speech. Do something different. If I see you with your pants sagging, I might as well just put that's just, how it goes nowadays. So I'm glad that God has placed in your heart that you will stand up and be different. You're not gonna, like you said, you're not gonna be the same as a dreadhead or, the gangbanger. You want to be different.
Now, it wasn't always easy to be different. It's never easy. So I don't want you guys or you to get the perception that it was easy for me to, just become this different person, because I still have my own identity struggles. I still have, days when I'm just like, oh man, forget this God thing. I'm gonna do Lavell, because I'm still a teenager. But what keeps me grounded and what keeps me rooted is, knowing who I am and who I am going to be someday. So a lot of the times we have to continue to push. I tell parents to continue to keep that dream that your child has. If it's being a basketball player, if it's being a doctor, a lawyer, whatever it is, keep that dream before them, because it keeps, them reaching for something. My mom and my grandma kept me wanting to be a teacher before me, bought me chalkboards, bought me books. They kept the, dream before me, because now I have something to reach for. And if the youth don't have anything to reach for or something to, shoot for, then they'll just shoot for whatever's out there. And, our society is good at putting violence before them in video games, in, television shows like the Boondocks and Family Guy. They're easy to put those, violent clips in front of them and say, this is what you can reach for. And I think it's time out for all that. It's time to put up, positive images. It's time to put up, people like President Obama, who didn't mind running for president. It's time to put up people like Oprah Winfrey, who didn't mind, standing up and saying, this is who I am and this is what I believe in. That's what it's time for. Time out for all this foolishness, and time for more positive, outlooks and stuff to reach for.
And one of my favorite sayings are, if you don't go through anything, you won't get to anything. So that's
gotta preach.
You can preach about that.
No, I'm gonna let you preach on that. Go ahead.
The second topic that I want to get to is relationships.
Ooh.
Are you in a relationship, Lavell? Short, Junior.
Can I call a break on my own? No, I am not in a relationship at this moment. Outside of dating Jesus, but that's about it. You know. That's about it.
What do you think will last a relationship?
I think what it takes to make a relationship last is three things. I call it TCC: trust, communication, and compromise. If you can't trust a person, the relationship won't last. If you cannot communicate with the person, so if you're angry at me, I need to know why you're mad at me. I need to know, even in a teens relationship, most people will kind of sweep it under the rug, but truth of the matter is we date. Truth of the matter is we have emotions. Truth of the matter is we hurt too. So if you don't trust, if I can't trust you no further than I can see you, why am I with you? If you can't communicate with me how you're feeling, or, it starts as simple as how was your day? And of course we'll lie and say, oh, it was good, it was all right, it was decent. But, we have to be honest with each other in a relationship. And then that third one, which is big for me, especially if I was to dating this time of my life, is compromise. Can you compromise? Right now, for me, it would be with my schedule, with the way life has me going. Can you compromise? Can you understand that, all right, I might not be able to text you every night, because one of these nights I'm going to be tired and want to go to sleep. Can you compromise with the fact that I might be doing ministry things here and there? I might be going, for example, I'm going to Washington, D.C. for 5 days. Would you be able to deal with that? Can I trust you while I'm gone? Can you communicate with me while I'm gone? And can you compromise with the fact that I will be gone? So those are the three things that I think it takes to, keep a relationship going.
How do you deal with hurt?
A good Whitney Houston CD and some chocolate, No, I deal with my hurt on the inside more so. I have my best friend who I talk to, who gets the gist of every piece of emotion that I have. I don't care if it's sad, mad, happy. She gets every piece of it. I'm cool, I get over her, she ain't nobody. And then 10 minutes later, I'm like, but friend, she's just the best thing that ever happened to me. I just don't know what to do no more, friend. So the way I, deal with hurt is, of course, people would say you're supposed to pray and do all that. When I can't pray, when I'm hurting to the point where I cannot, get to God, I will either listen to music. Of course, that's not the best thing to do, because all music does is stir up more emotions, just to let them know. Or two, I'll just sit at home and I'll think. I sit in a quiet place and I allow my mind to ponder on this hurt, because I believe on the inside of us is the ability and the power to change whatever situation we're in. We have that invested on the inside of our, spirit, soul, and our mind. And what I do is I allow my mind to say, okay, this is hurt. How do I deal with it? I can isolate myself and I can say, okay, how do I knock this off? I think about more positive stuff. Yeah, she hurt me, but, my ladder will be greater. Yeah, she hurt me, but darn it, there's a wife with my name on it. That's the way I deal with her. I just try to think on the positive stuff. And if I can't think of nothing positive, like I said, Whitney Houston, Mary J. Blige, Beyonce, somebody's going to take care of me. Teddy Pendergrass, somebody going to take care of me that night.
Do you think you're a ladies' man?
Boy, where are you getting these questions from? And at that note, we're gonna take a commercial break. No, I'm kidding. I don't know, Kendall. That's a good one. I think I am to a certain degree. I don't think I could just woo every young lady that comes my way, because I'm not dating nobody, so obviously I can't woo too much of anybody. But just thinking about it, maybe a little bit. I have charm. My pastor says I look a little lucky some days. So I play off that.
My next topic I'm gonna ask you about is politics.
Hit me with it.
Again, do you think President Obama will do better in his second term than he did in his first term?
I believe he will, because one, President Obama now has experience in that area, and two, because of the cabinet that he's building. I believe now he'll be more able to open up to the concepts of what America really, really does need now, in this time.
I believe that he will also, because like you said, experience. That's one of the main reasons I believe, because now you got a couple gray hairs. His hair's falling. His head had falling out. Now he has to stay up all night and worry. So I believe he will, have more experience. Say, well, I did this the first term. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should do this instead the second term, and things like that. Now you are the senior class president at Chicago Military. What do you have to deal with? How is it?
It's I think my best friend could tell this testimony better than me. It's very stressful. I didn't think it was going to be as stressful as it is. I thought it was just going to be a fun walk in the park. But again, when you're dealing with people, it's never easy because you got different opinions, different, subjects. Everybody want to do their own thing and trying to govern them, because that's what the senior class does. The senior class president does. He governs the senior class. Trying to make everybody happy was my first, the first 3 months of office was just trying to make everybody happy. And once I realized that I couldn't do that, I had to scale back and say, well, and nobody likes to put their executive foot down and say, I'm the president, I make the decisions. But with some areas, I had to. I had to say, I'm the senior class president. This is the decision that I'm making overall. And of course, there's people that were unhappy. Thus, I stress at night with, my CDs and my music and my chocolate. There it is, That's how I cope with it.
I believe that you, as a senior class president, is doing a good job, because you.
How you gonna say that and you ain't a senior?
Because your decisions affect the freshmen. So if you say, like before you leave, you're gonna get us the polos. So by next year, we won't have to wait. Dang, we need the polos too. We'll already have them, because before Lavell left, he signed whatever he had to do to make sure that when we go to RO period, we got to get our polos. When we come back, I'm going to ask Lavell Short the big question.
Hey everybody, it's me again. Listen, I hope you're enjoying the show thus far. You can follow me on Twitter at Lavell Short Jr. Go to my website, www.lavellshortjr.com. See all the different things that God is getting ready to do. Come on, we can converse, different mind to different mind. Also, while you're there, sign up for my newsletter. I got some stuff I want to talk to you about. I love you. Thank you so much.
The big question is, how can we as youth in the 21st century, 2013, be different-minded in all areas? With God, with school, family, friends, relationships, politics, anything.
That's a good one, Kendall. The way I believe the youth can do it is simply learning who they are. That's the basis, that's the foundation in all areas, in ministry, in school life, in every area. Know who you are. Know exactly what your morals are for yourself. I'm not talking about mama's morals for you, daddy's morals for you. What are my own morals? What values am I setting for myself? What standards am I setting for myself in school, in God, in every area of life? And, that's how you build and develop a different mind, because your morals are not the same as my morals. Your standards aren't the same as my standards. Thus, the way you think, your thought process is not the same as my thought process, which makes you different-minded.
My name is Kendall Willis. As you know, this is your original host, Lavell Short.
Y'all will see me next week.
Lavell Short Jr. And remember, it takes a different mind to make a change in each and every area of your life. Thank you.
Hey there. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for watching. Listen, I want to let you know you can still follow me on Facebook at Lavell Short Jr. You can go to my website, www.lavellshortjr.com, and sign up for my newsletter while you're there. I want to talk to you. Again, I thank you for watching the show. And remember, it takes a different mind to make change happen in your community. Y'all have a nice day.